Okay, yeah, I think now it is all right, right? Uh, So yes, okay. So now see, in the data fit, you are able to see the values of A and B to predict it properly. Okay, so you have lot of options. For example, you wanted to see the graph, so all that things are available here. Okay, for example, click on the model plot. So it is now showing you the data points. See these are dots. Okay, these dots, one dot, second dot, the third dot, the fourth dot, like that, and the fifth dot. Okay, the 5 points which we gave, and the line which it has drawn, the predicted line. Okay, so like this you are able to get the equation and plot also. Okay, and you also have the export facility. You can export this data. Okay, so you can click like this, and you can click say model plot underscore say v. Okay, underscore data fit. Okay, so save. Okay, so like this several options are there in this. That is a good thing about it. Okay, now let me say even print etc are there. You can later on check all those things. Let me say close. Okay, now what I will do is I will again go to solve. Let me do other way. I will go to again solve. Let me click regression. Okay, now this time I will take the second order polynomial. Okay, so when I take the second order polynomial, we already know that the actual equation is y is equal to x plus 1 approximately. So when you compare with the second order polynomial, the a value should be approximately 0, b and c should be approximately equal to 1. Let us check whether this particular software is having that common sense to understand that values of abc. Okay, let me click solve. Solution successful. So again go to the results. Let me click say the summary. Okay, so when I say the summary, okay, so now you can see here clearly. Okay, these are the values. Okay, how much error is happening in each of the case. Okay, so you can see the error. How much is this? Some earlier it was a 0.04 for the standard error, and now it is a 0.05. And okay, see this r square value which is there, no? If this r square value is very close to 1, that means it is doing a good prediction. That is how you can think. Okay, this r square value should be very close to 1. And what we can do is you can just close this. You can go to the results, and you can even click the detailed summary. So when you click the detailed summary, here you can see the abc values. Now you can see the abc values. Now a value is given as minus 3.8. Here you see capital E minus 04 is there. That means you have to understand it as minus 3.8. How to read this? This A value, how to read? Just please observe. Minus 3.85 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Okay, that is how you have to read, which will be very, very close to 0. Okay, minus 3.85 into 10 to the power of minus 4, which is very, very close to 0. And now you see the B value, which is very close to 1. Even the C value is very close to 1. Okay, that is how it is able to predict properly even now. Okay, got the point? Now I hope you understood how to use the data fit. Okay, I told only for one independent variable. You can later on check for multiple variables. Now let us do the similar thing using MATLAB. Okay, so let us go to MATLAB now. So I am closing this particular thing, data fit. Okay, save changes to the project. So I will click data fit underscore v. Save. Okay, exit data fit. Thanks to data fit people. Now I am going to the MATLAB. So I told already I don't have the MATLAB online. I don't have the software, so I'm using the online support. Okay. So don't worry, in the middle, when I'm using the other software, when I'm trying to open the other software, the connection is getting temporarily lost. So you don't worry too much. It is already coming up. So I am using the online MATLAB thing. So what I'm doing is, again thanks to the MATLAB people, because I'm using their software now, and the facility they are providing us. So what I'll do is a is equal to, I'm giving some data values in the command window. I'm typing, say for example, 1 space 2 space 4 space 7 space 8, just like what I did in the data fit. Okay, now b is equal to, let me say, 1.99, and 2 means I'm putting as say 3.
Command window not visible, sir.
What happened?
Not visible, sir.
Not
MATLAB command window.
Oh, 1 minute. Did I not share you the screen? Yeah, I think I have not shared the screen. Huh? Share the screen.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Because the connection was lost. Okay. I think now the screen is visible. MATLAB thing.
No, 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 no.
I think, okay, wait. Share the screen. Yes, it is telling no.
Yes,
Now
yes.
MATLAB
No,
screen is visible.
no. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, visible.
Okay. So just like what I did in the data fit, now I am entering the A values and B values. So for example, A is equal to 1 space 2 space 4 space 7 space 8. Okay. Now B values I am taking as 1.99. When A is 1, I am taking B as 1.99. When A is 2, I am taking B is 3. When A is 4, I am taking B as say 4 means I takes approximately 5. So 5.01 I am taking. And when A is 7, I'm taking this as 8. When A is 8, I'm taking this as 9.1. Okay, approximately, right? So you can clearly see again, B is approximately equal to A plus 1. It is like B equal to A plus 1 approximately, yes or no? Okay, so this is what it has to predict. I will let us cross check whether it is going to do that or not. So what I will do now is, there is a tool for curve fitting. Okay, CF tool. There is something called curve fitting tool, CF tool. I will click that. Okay, I will press that. Okay, and I am pressing enter. So you got one new window. Okay, you got some new window, and in the new window what I'll do is, I am doing the experiment. So I will give the file name. So let me say curve fit, curve fit, okay, underscore v. Okay, now what I'll do, x data I will import the values of A. Okay, and y data I will import the value of B. Okay, so now you can see, automatically it has done some calculations here. Okay, you can see some calculations have already automatically came up, and it is taking, see here, linear model f of x is equal to p1x plus p2. Already we have seen it is something like mx plus c. Okay, so the p1 is approximately equal to 1 here, you can see, and the p2 is approximately equal to again 1. You can see here clearly. Got the point? So this is also able to predict. Okay, almost correctly, like in data fit also we got. And now you can see here, this adjusted r square I told, if this value is very close to 1, that means it is doing the almost a very good job of data fitting. Okay, that is what you have to think, right? That in the previous data fit also I showed you, this should be very very close to 1. Okay, or in another way, this ssc which is there, this is some kind of error, right? Okay, that should be very very close to 0. Okay, even this rmsc should be very very close to 0. Root means squared error, rmsc means. Okay, so let us do one more option. Okay, already you see the data points are given here. And now one thing you can do is, you can compare this particular graph with the data fit graph. Okay, give the same data as input, and see the graph drawn by this and the graph drawn by that. Similarly, the values which this is giving, okay, the equation which this is giving MATLAB, and the equation which the data fit is giving, like that you can have a comparison. Okay. And one more thing, again let us do here. Here a lot of options will be there. I'm putting polynomial. Okay, later on you can explore. I'm just trying to show you how to use the tools. Okay, that's it. So later on you can check for with various combinations depending on the requirement. Now I'm putting the degree as say 2. When I put the degree as 2, like what we did in the data fit also, now the equation will be in the form of p1 x square plus p2 x plus p3. There it was ax square plus bx plus c. So again we already know that this particular equation is in the form of y equal to x plus 1. So the x square quotient should be approximately equal to 0. Now you can see here, it is giving 0.0032. Okay, so which is very close to 0. And p2 is approximately close to 1, and p3 is also approximately close to 1. I hope you are able to follow the things, right? Okay, so this is how you can do the things in MATLAB. Okay, now the question is, how do you predict the future? Okay, that is what we were discussing, right? See, it is giving the equation as of now, that is fine. But how do you predict the future values, or the past values, or some central values? Suppose I wanted to know what is the value at 3, or I wanted to know what is the value at 9. See, we are having the data only up to 8. I wanted to find what is the value at 9. Like that, if I wanted to know that, what I can do is one way. Okay, let me again go back to degree 1 itself. Okay, okay, it will become slightly easy. Okay, yeah, so let me take this particular thing with the degree 1. Now here, p1 p2 values, p1 p2 values, let me use this. We have some export options also. For example, you just click here, you will be able to see some options. Okay, just 1 minute. File, yeah, save session, you can do that always, save session. Okay, and you will also have some export data options. Okay, I just am seeing that it will be somewhere here. 1 minute. center scale fit is over, duplicate save to, yeah, save to workspace. Okay, so the whatever data you got here, the values you want to save means you have to click the save to workspace. Okay, so let me click that save to workspace. Okay, so I will say okay, I will say okay. Yeah, so if you want to see the data which is in the workspace, you can click like this, and the data is visible at the back side there. Okay, so okay, so yeah, you can click this workspace here. So all these three things now came up newly, right? A, B are the things which we gave, and these three are the things which we came up newly now. Okay, from this particular curve fitting tool thing. Okay, now what I will do is this P1 P2 values. Let me close this workspace temporarily. Let me go back here. P1 is equal to 1.01, P2 value 0.9739. Okay, P2 is equal to 0.9379 and P1 is equal to 1.01. So now what I will do, just observe here. I will just minimize this temporarily. Now if I want to know the value of B when A is equal to 9, what I can do is something like this. Please observe here. There is a command called polyval. Polyval means polynomial value. Okay, here I will put p1 comma p2. What is the meaning of this means, when I'm writing polyval p1 comma p2 in this particular syntax, this p1 comma p2 when I'm writing, it is understood automatically as p1 times x plus p2. So in this case it is p1 times a plus p2. Okay, it will be understood like that. Okay, generally it will be taken as a p1x, p1 and p1 into x plus p2. Suppose you also have say p3, then it will be understood as p1 into x square plus p2 into x plus p3. It will be understood like that. And then outside the bracket, what I'm doing is comma, I will put the value at which I wanted to find. For example, I wanted to find the value at 9, right? At 9, what will be my b value? That is what I want to find. So this 9 will be substituted into the polynomial p1 x square plus p2 x plus p3. Got the point? Anyhow, now in this particular case, we don't have p3, so I'm just removing that. Okay, so this is the way how you can find the value of a polynomial for a particular given x. Okay, here the a and x I am using parallelly. Okay, when I say x, you can think it as a in this case. Okay, now I'm pressing enter. Okay, so it is giving the value as a 10.06. Already we know, when already we know the equation y is equal to x plus 1. So when x is equal to 9, y will be approximately 10, and that is what it is showing in this particular case. See, I am taking a easy equation like y equal to x plus 1 because we can do hand calculation easily. Okay, that is the only reason. Okay, and we can do cross checking easily. Okay, but you can take some other random values and get a different kind of equations. They need not be straight lines also. Okay, got the point? अच्छी बात है, अर्थमవుతుంది కదా? Okay. Okay, so this is what you can do in MATLAB. Suppose instead of one single value, see for example here, for one single value of 9, you are finding the value of y. If you wanted to find for different values, for if you have lot of x values, and for all those x values, if you wanted to find the y values, how do you do? Individually doing like this every time will be tedious process. It will take lot of time. Okay, and it will okay, so you have a technique like this. For example, if you want to find say for example, let me put say some x is equal to x is equal to 1 colon 9. Okay, from 1 to 9, what is the meaning of this? X can take all the integers from 1 to 9. So 1 2 3 up to 9. Okay, so for all these values you wanted to find, suppose. Now what I will do is I will take polyval. Here I will simply say x. So now for every value of x, it will calculate the p1x plus p2, and it will give you the answer now. Okay, let me call this and say y predicted, y underscore predicted. Okay, like that. So now when I press enter, it will give you all these values, and you can easily cross check. You see here, already you know, when you see the original data, when original data 1 was there. Okay, and we have given the original data, the y value is 1.99, but the predicted value is 1.98 only. Okay, so there is some delta y. So the difference between this 1.99 and 1.98, that we can as a delta y. Okay, so when you draw a straight line now, this particular point will not lie on the particular straight line exactly. Okay, it will be slightly that side or this side. Okay, slightly above or below kind of thing. Okay, this we already discussed in the beginning. I was showing you this particular graph. Just a minute, the graph is about to come. Just let me open that graph. Just let me open that graph. Where is the graph? Went away. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it is here. Here it is sitting here. Just a minute. I don't want to waste your time. Yes, this is the graph. Yeah. So in this graph, I already showed. So when you draw the straight line, that particular straight line may not pass through the exactly the given data points. Okay. So sometimes the straight line will be slightly above the given data point. Sometimes it will be exactly on the data point. Sometimes it will be below the data point. Okay. So the delta y will be sometimes positive or sometimes negative. That means this difference, the height difference here. Okay. So the delta y is shown here. See, for example, here. Okay. So that is thing. That's what I'm trying to mention here. Okay, so anyhow, already you got all this data. So using this now you can tell. For example, you can think like this. On day one, this much rainfall came, this 1.99 centimeters of rain came in some particular place, maybe in Bhopal or maybe in Chennai. And on the second day, 3 centimeter rainfall came. On the fourth day, 5.01 centimeter rain came. Something like that if you have the data. Then on the ninth day, how much rain is going to come? Okay, so this much centimeters of rain is going to come. It's something like that prediction. Okay. Okay, so this is how you will use the MATLAB. So now we will go to the Python. Okay, how do you do similar things in Python? So before I go to Python, I just want to ask permission from you people. Do you have time? Because already we are crossing the time limits which we have set yesterday. So we thought that we will close the class by around 10:25, I think. So if you give permission for about the next 15 minutes, I will try to do the Python thing now itself. Otherwise, we will postpone it to the next class. So you just tell me if you have some 15 minutes, okay? Because it is a new topic to you. I also want to not hurry, okay? Just like hurrying the things is not a good thing, okay? So what do you say? Yeah, please respond now. Yes, okay, good. Okay, so I want other people's opinion also, okay? Yeah, other two people. Expecting a response from them. Yes or no? Like, shall we continue now or that's what? Doing the similar kind of thing in Python. Okay, carry on. Okay, good. Okay, thanks for your interest. So that will give me happiness. Okay, right? Anyhow, we can even do tomorrow. Anyhow, we will continue now. Thanks. So what I will do for Python now? So I'm trying to tell from my experiences. Many times I don't know like what to type and where to type. Okay. Okay, so see, some people will tell, okay, do type this, but where to type? Okay, first where I have to go and type. That's my problem. So I faced this kind of problem. Okay, so I just will tell you what to do for you. Okay, so I just go to internet initially. Then what I did is we have to install few things. So already I have done that, but I'm just showing you the process. I think already you people know how to install Python, but just because later on some other people may be watching this video, so just within 2 minutes I will try to tell in a brief way. So you simply type Python. Okay, Python download. That's it. Python download. Okay, for Windows. If it is a Windows system, just Python download Windows. Okay, so it will go to the official Python website, and in that you click like this. Okay, and you will see some downloads. In the downloads, you can see the okay. So directly it is there now initially on the beginning itself. So download for latest Windows. So you can click on this. So when you click okay, okay, okay kind of things, and you install that particular thing. Okay, so once you install all that, okay, so just let me not waste the time. Okay, so what how you might get, I will try to show you that much. Okay, how you might get, yes. So when you click the download and all that, finally you will get to something like this. Okay, so then again you have to click this. Okay, so initially when you download it, it will come like this. You click run and then it will keep on installing something. Okay, so that is one thing. So once you do all that process, so what will happen here is in your all programs you will get something related to that Python. Okay, so yeah, like this. Okay, Python, you will get something like this. So when you open this, you will get the particular kernel. Okay, so it is getting open. But apart from this, if you just have this, it may not be sufficient. You also require some other things. Okay, yeah. So here you can type some commands and do the work. But there is something else also you have to do. It will be more convenient. Now one thing is you downloaded this and kept aside. One more thing you do, one small thing, what you do is go to internet once more. Okay, go to internet once more and you click on, okay, you click on okay, you click on this particular thing. I already opened and kept for you not to waste time. Okay, so Anaconda, this is there, no, navigator. Okay, so Anaconda navigator, so that you click, that means you go to the internet. This time what you do is Anaconda navigator. This will help you a lot. Okay, Anaconda navigator for Windows. Okay, so it will give you, again it will go to the directly the main one. So you click on that. Okay, you click on that. I will take 1 minute, I think 1 minute maximum for telling all these things. Okay, so when you click on that Anaconda navigator, you will get initially the home page, something like this. Okay, yeah, something like this. So you just come down slightly. So as you come down slightly, you will see, something like this. Okay, so you click on this now. Okay, Windows, so 64-bit run. So I'm clicking this. So when I click this, what has come, that I will show directly. Okay, so now, yeah, let me not waste time much. So yeah, Anaconda, it is coming. It will come. Yeah, startup, yes, yes, this one. Okay, so this particular thing will come. So when I click this, okay, again I will not show you all the installation now. So when I click this, it will give you finally how it comes up. I will just show you. Okay, you go on clicking okay, okay, kind of things. Okay, so let me close this now temporarily. Let me close this now temporarily. So when all that process is over, okay, later on, okay, when all that process is over, okay, let me click on this. So something like this will come after that installation. So once this comes, what you have to do is click on the Jupyter notebook. Click on the Jupyter notebook. So let me click launch. Okay, so now from now onwards, we are starting the actual process. Okay, so click on the notebook. So it will open in a few moments. Okay, so when you click that, no, what will happen, I'm just showing over here. Already I opened a few things. So something like this will open, something like this. Wait, yeah, something like this will open. Okay, so something like this will open. Now what I will do is, okay, I'm already written the code and kept readily, because I should not waste you people's time. So here let me go to say new file, new notebook. Okay, so new notebook. Okay, so we will try to complete in 15 minutes. Okay, so don't worry. A new notebook. Let me not waste time, it is taking time. So let me close unnecessary windows so that it will become a bit faster. And some other things, if they're running, it may take some time unnecessarily. Okay, yeah, so just some amount of patience is required. So file new, I just see it is a bit slow now today, because too many things got opened. I think I'll close unnecessary things. I'll close this. I'll close this. I will close the MATLAB thing also now. Okay, because it is heavy one. Okay, so let me close this MATLAB thing, so that it will become fast. Yes, yeah, it got open. Right, good. Now that's it. Okay, so within 13 minutes we are going to finish. So what we're going to do now is, in this particular case, see, for example, already you know the C language. Okay, okay. So yes, okay, right. So already you know the C language. In that we will be writing no hash include. Okay, so oh, because of this only it was getting slow. Okay, you just go on clicking run, run, run. So after you do that run, 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 later on you are going to get that navigator kind of thing. Okay, so yeah, this kind of thing will come after you click that run there. Okay, because of that only the system got slow. Okay, now I understood. Right, fine. So we don't want that now. Let me close this also. Okay, other things which we don't want, I am closing. Okay, right. So yes, so right, let it be like this. I'll come up here. Okay, okay. Let me close this also temporarily. Okay, yeah. Now come here. So just like what we you do, no, hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, hash include math.h, something like that we will write, no. So similarly, we have to write some more things here. So what I am doing is import. Okay, import pandas as pd. Okay, like we are, instead of writing every time pandas, we are just writing it as a pd. Okay, some kind of shortcut. Then press enter. Okay, import numpy. Okay, see, if you wanted to know more about what is this pandas, what is this numpy, one thing you do is, just a minute. క్లాస్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్ ప్లీజ్. తర్వాత మాట్లాడదాం అబ్బా, క్లాస్ నడుస్తుంది. Just a minute, one person called, I'm just informing him, okay, so that his time will not get wasted. Okay, your time also will not get wasted, otherwise he'll be calling, keeping on calling. Okay, just a few minutes. Just 1 minute, not few minutes, just 1 minute. One person, he might also listen, that is all. Okay, he called, that's why. Okay. Okay, yeah, thanks. Thanks for your patience. So, if you want to know more details about what is this pandas, what is this NumPy, you can simply copy paste this and type search in the internet also. Okay, like that. Import NumPy as NP. Okay. Then one more thing, import matplotlib. Okay. So instead of wasting time, you can just see here. Okay, import matplotlib.pyplot. Okay, as dot pyplot as PLT. Okay, so and whether we have to use PLT or some other word. Okay, I think you can even try with some other word here instead of PLT. You may say something else and just try it out. Okay, but whatever name we are using here, that the same name we will be going using down. I hope so, right? So next thing is we will do one more thing, one more line. Okay, okay, from sklearn, okay, import from sklearn, import, okay, from sklearn, import linear underscore predict. Okay, so linear underscore model. Okay, right, linear underscore model. Okay. So, like one more thing, syntax, as you practice more and more, you will remember. And sometimes these are all like standard things. You can just always take from a standard file and use the lines as such. Okay, instead of you typing every time. Okay, or once you type, it's always good. Once you practice more and more, you will remember the commands exactly. Okay, yeah, right. Now, what is that I'm trying to do is I will try to take data from some Excel sheet. Okay, so let me create one Excel sheet. Assume, okay, let me go to a new Excel sheet, new. Okay, so new workbook. Okay, create. So let me assume that I have data like this. Okay, here let me say number of students. Okay, number of students, and here food required for them in tons, food in tons. Okay, food in ton. Okay, food in quintals. Okay, assume that quintals. Okay, quintals. Food in quintals. How much food is required? Maybe they are in some hostel, and how much food is required for how many number of students? It's like that. Okay. So let me assume that there are now 200 students. Okay. In some scenario, 300 students. In some scenario, there may be 400 students. In some scenario, there may be 700 students. Okay. And in some scenario, there may be 750 students. Let us just assume like that. Okay. Now, food required maybe, and in quintals, I am saying whether it is for 1 month or 1 year, we are not talking all that. Okay. That is a different issue. Okay. Now, let us just say for 200 peoples, just let us assume that it is 10 quintals. Now, for how many days, I am not mentioning here. For some days or some months. Okay. Like that. Now, so what I'm doing is 200 means approximately I'm dividing with 20. I'm dividing with 20. I'm trying to get again a easy equation. Okay. So that some kind of straight line will fit. So if the for 200 if it is 10, then for 300 it should be how much? It should be 15, right? It will be 15. So up slightly I'm adjusting this side that side because I don't want to put exact straight line, right? So I'm putting it as say 14.5. Okay, and then when it is 400 it should be 20. So I'm putting it as a 20.5. If it is a perfect straight line, then it will be 20 like that. I kind of think. Okay. So now when it is 700, what I have to do now? Okay, 35, right? 35. Okay, so let me put as exactly 35 itself. And when it is 750, it should be 37.5 exactly. So I will put it as say 38. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so this is the kind of data, and clearly we can see now there is again a say linear kind of relationship. Now what you can do is, if you want, okay, instead of saying quintals, now you can say food in kgs. Okay, kg. Okay, food in kg. And now here you can put the values like this, say some, okay, something like this. So now in this case it will become like this one, and here it will become like okay. Okay, it is like a scaling factor. Okay, just is a scaling factor. Okay, so you should not worry too much about this. And here it is. Okay. Okay, so by seeing these values, now don't ask me for how many days. Okay, that approximately you can make an estimation. Okay, 10,000 kgs of food 200 people are consuming, so definitely it will be in some few months, not 1 month. Okay, in few months. Okay, maybe some like that, maybe for few months of time. Okay, so this is the values. Now I wanted to plot this as a graph, and also I want to find the equation which will fit. And suppose tomorrow, I know in the hostel there are only 500 people. Maybe due to some holidays, some people went home. Okay, so then for that particular month or particular few months, okay, when there are only 500 people, how much food consumption is required, like how much quantity of rice we have to bring, okay, or we have to order, like that. So or tomorrow, suppose the number of the strength in the college increases, the college is getting good name and more people are joining. Suppose the next year strength becomes 900, then how much food is required? So all these kind of things you can do prediction. So how to do all that is our question. Okay, so now I will say save as. So the saving is also very important. I will be saving it as a csv file. This is very very important. I am clicking as a csv file, please be careful. So csv file, I am putting it as a koshish. Okay, just we are doing some kind of trial here. Koshish. Okay, I'm trying to purposefully use some Hindi name, because already I told we have to learn a different Indian languages. Even the Tamil person should learn some Hindi, the Hindi person should learn some Tamil. Okay, like that. That will help a lot for the national integrity. Okay, that is why purposefully I'm putting a Hindi name, Koshish. Okay, save. Okay, now it is getting saved in documents, but we wanted to get the file in some other place. Save. Okay, now let me click OK, let me click yes. Okay, now very important thing is that file is in documents. I have to bring it into the current folder where I am working in the Python. Okay, so come back to this Python thing. Okay, come back here. Okay, now whenever you type some commands like this, we have to run and see how it works, whether there is some error in that. Okay, run. So when I run this, there is no error. If there is no error, like this it will come. Otherwise there will be some error message coming here or warning message coming here. Okay, so if there is no error message, again something like this, just a blinking line will come, blinking cursor. Okay, now what I will do is I have to import that file. So but for importing that file, what I have to do is I have to go to this okay, uh, where the folders where everything, all our files are there. Here I have to say upload, upload. And I will bring from the documents. From the documents, what was the name of the file, remember? Koshish, right? So I'll click that Koshish. Okay, koshish.csv, open. Okay, so that has come here. Upload, I will say upload. So that Koshish file is now in our current location where we are working with this particular Python. Okay, so the Koshish file has come here. If you wanted to see what is the data in that, you can just double click this, so it will open the file. So these are the values which we have given: number of students and food in kg. Okay. So this is the data. Now what I will do is, again I will go to the file. So within about 10 minutes we are going to close. Okay, now we have to close this. So what I'm trying to do is a data frame. Okay, I am calling as a data frame. Into that I am calling like this, pd dot. Okay, I have to bring that file now. So read underscore csv. Okay, and what is the file name? I have to give it here. So file name I am giving. What is the file name? If you remember, Koshish. You have to remember the exact spelling also, Koshish.csv. Just if you have any doubt, you go and see there. See here, I have put O as a capital O, because I'm saying O, like a long pronunciation. So I'm putting capital O like that. Okay, so everything will have meaning. Okay, like, okay, now I'm putting run. Okay, yeah, so there is no error. That is why this kind of line came, like normally blinking. Okay, now if you wanted to see what are the values in that df, you can simply say df and click again one more time, run. So it will display the content of the csv file which you are having. Now what I have to do is I wanted to plot these points. Okay, like x values and y values I wanted to plot. So for that what I'll do is, uh, okay, so I will plot. So instead of wasting time, I will go here, plot scatter. Okay, so just let me copy paste this, plot scatter. Okay, plt dot scatter. Okay, plot scatter, and within the bracket I am putting df dot. Okay, and now number of students, so number of students, comma, df dot. Okay, food in kg, food in kg. Okay, so like this I will put, and then I will press run. Okay, so yeah, it has given you the x values, y values kind of thing. Okay, the y values and x values, but now there is no label what is x, what is y, it is not written. So if you want to give the names also, you can write like this, something like this you can do. Okay, plt dot x label, sorry, x label, plot x label. Okay, now here you can write a number of students, number of students, number of students, and then similarly y label also you can put the plot dot y label. Okay, see the spellings also. Okay, that's important, y label, and here food in kg, food in kg. Okay, so like this, now you click run. Okay, so now you can see the x-axis, y-axis are given the names. Okay, and one more thing, if you wanted to see, by default the things came as dots. Okay, dots. See, for example, the thing where I showed, I have put like a into mark. Okay, but in this particular software it is showing as dots. Okay, so don't worry much about it. If you want to change the shape of that particular thing, you can have a combination like this. For example, you can do like this. If you want to even change the color, say for example, you can write like this, color. So it is using the American English color. Okay, the spelling. The British English means it will be COLOUR. Okay. Hmm. So suppose I want to say black. Okay, then I can say the dots will come in black. By default, the color things will come in blue. I think you know why it is, right? Lord Vishnu is given blue color like that. Okay, default color. Okay, so here I will say marker is equal to, I will put say star. Okay, so like this you can do. Okay, now you can close this bracket. Now you run it. You can see now stars came in black color like that. Okay, okay, now the question is not about these designings. Okay, main thing is now we have to fit our data into some equation, right? So that is our main purpose. So what I will do is I will create one object. Okay, so I will create one object. So let me call that as a reg. Okay, so let me call linear underscore model dot linear regression. Please understand, see where I'm putting the capital letters, where I'm putting the small letters, everything matters, especially when there are some commands, built-in commands kind of thing. There we should be very, very careful. So here this capital L and this capital R, linear regression. So the beginning of every word is like capital letter. Okay, in the linear regression when I'm writing. Okay, so those kind of things you should be careful a little bit. Okay, so let me come slightly down here. Okay, so that is done there. Yeah, so that is what we are seeing here, right? So linear underscore model linear regression. Okay, right. Next what I'll do is fit. Okay, so this is what we have done, and it is like a function kind of thing. So I'm putting enter. Now I am doing fitting. I have to do the fitting, right? So reg dot fit. Now what I have to fit is the question, right? So just observe the syntax once. Fit, you have to fit the x and y values. Okay, so for that what I'm doing, you just observe. Okay, this is very important now syntax wise. Okay, df, see the double kind of square brackets. Okay, and within that I'm putting that number of students. So number of stu. Okay, spellings, everything is very, very important. Okay, and once you come out of that square brackets. Okay, so the independent variable I am writing in this particular syntax. So you should understand that the independent variable I am writing in this particular syntax, but the dependent variable which we call as the target variable, df dot. Okay, that is a food in kg, right? Food in kg, that I am writing in this way. Okay, got it? Okay, so now let me run it. Okay, so let me run it. So if there is no error, you are going to get something like this, something like this. Okay, so yeah, almost done. Fitting is done, but now you wanted to see the equation, right? So if you wanted to see the equation, how the equation will be, because this is a particular linear equation we are doing, it will be like y equal to mx plus c. So that m is called, already I told you, it is called the slope or it is called the coefficient. Okay, and the c is called the y-intercept. So to if you are interested in seeing those values, you can see like this. Okay, you can click as reg dot coef underscore. You click run. So you are seeing this 50.79, that is your slope. Okay, now similarly you want to, that is your m value, you want to see the in y-intercept, so you have to say reg dot intercept. Within 5 minutes we are going to close this now. Okay, so reg dot intercept underscore. Okay, yeah, because your time is also running out, I hope. So run. So you can see this is your value. Now this is your m value and this is your c value. So if you want to get the equation like y equal to mx plus c. Okay, so you know the m value, now the c value. So the this is your m value and this is your c value. So accordingly you can get what is your y value. Okay, so if you wanted to comment a line, so just this is for our understanding. So I will put, if you put this percentile symbol, it is only, it is commented line. Okay, this will not be treated as a running command. Okay, like it is only for our understanding we have put. Okay, now if you wanted to know how much food is required, let's say 400, for number of, if the number of students are 400, how much food is required. Okay, already from the given data set we know if there are 400 people we require this much value of food. Okay, now but let us see according to this predicted value how much is required. Okay, so what I will do is mx. Okay, so m is this, I will copy this m value, I will copy this m value, I will copy this m value. Then what I do is I will paste it here. సరేనా, ఇక్కడ పేస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. తర్వాత we will do the problem now. సో इतना పెట్టాను, ऐसा लगाया मैं. So mx, so into x करना है ना, so let me put it as say 400 people. Then I'll put plus, then I'm putting c. So the c value I'm just copy pasting, ये ले लेता हूँ मैं और मैं इधर पेस्ट करता हूँ उसको. ठीक है, this let's say minus is anyhow minus. Okay, so let me do it like this. Okay, so yeah, mx plus c. So let me run this now. Okay, just 1 minute. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so just let us remove this, it is giving error. So remove that particular part. Okay, even that semicolon, percentage symbol, everything remove. Okay, right. uh, okay, now you can see. Okay, right, so it is showing as a 20,044 kg approximately, right? So according to our given data, let us go and see 20,000, see 20,500, but it is giving it as 20,044. Okay, so okay, yeah, it is giving a slight error. That's what, that is what is this delta y, you should understand. That is what is this delta y, you should understand. Okay, and for a proper fitting, like if it is a best fit, that errors should be much minimal. Okay, especially this value we have to minimize, you have to remember that, right? Okay, so here I predicted for one single value. If you wanted to predict for multiple values, okay, and here I have done my hand calculation. It is like I have taken m into x plus c. So if you want automatically this particular software to do that, okay, there is a technique. So what I have to do is just let me go completely down. Okay, I have put it here, reg dot predict. Okay, yeah. So if you wanted to do by its own, instead of you are putting directly, you are putting your equation here. Instead of that, if you want that to do, you do like this, reg dot predict within the brackets. Okay, double square bracket again, within the open bracket again double square bracket, here you put that 400. Okay, and let me press enter. Okay, and let me press run. Okay, run. Now it has given that 20,044. So earlier also when I did hand calculation, it gave similar value. Okay, yes or no, similar value. Okay, with slight change. Okay, because of rounding error problems. Okay, it will give slightly different values. Okay, it's almost same. Now one more thing, let us try to understand now how do you draw the straight line which will fit through this. Okay, so that is one more issue we have to do. So what I will do is I will again try to copy paste these previous things. Okay, plotting commands, I will again paste it here freshly. Okay, so that if I run this, I'll get that particular dotted kind of things. But now I wanted to fit that particular line, right? So I will write one more command. Okay, because we are running out of time, I will simply copy paste that particular line. Okay, so for drawing that particular straight line, I am using this particular command. Okay, so I will copy this particular line. Okay, for drawing the straight line. Okay, so let me go up to this, let me come over here. I'll explain what it is. So we have to do put here as df dot number of students. Okay, so the syntax you see, plot plt dot plot, that is the syntax, plt dot plot plot. Okay, then df dot that x. Okay, and then here we are predicting the y values, and then we have to draw the line, right? So reg predict df, and here based on the x values we have to predict y values. So again we have to give the number of students itself here, number of SPU. So please understand what is this. See, already we have given the x values here. Okay, this is representing the x values. Now here the y values we have to get, right? So how do you get y values? We have to predict them now. For drawing the straight line we have to predict. See, for drawing these star kind of things, okay, dots kind of things or the star kind of things, we have taken the values which are already there in the table given to us. But when you want to draw the straight line, you have to predict the new values of y. So that is why the x values are directly taken as such, but for y we cannot directly write as a df dot food in kg. We should not write that. Okay, please understand, we have to predict those values. So that is why reg dot predict, and the y values will be coming from, for corresponding to x we have to get the y values. So again we have to give the predict with respect to these particular x values. That is what you have to mention. And then color is blue, it is mentioned here. By default anyhow it will come in blue, so you need not put that. Already we have put the dots in black color. So here if the line is going to come by default in blue, that will be good for us. Both are in different colors, so identification will be easy for us. So no need not write. Okay, so I remove that. Now I am saying run. Okay, so you can see a straight line got obtained there. And now again you can see some particular points may be exactly passing through that, and some may not be passing. Here there is some small gap here. Okay, there is again some small gap here. There is some again small gap like the delta wise which we were seeing here. Okay, and one final step, maybe 3-4 minutes we have to close this. Okay. So one more final step is, how do you export that data from here to some Excel sheet? That is one question. And how do you predict the future values or the values? For example, when the number of students is 500, how do I know how much food is required? When the number of students is say 800, how do I know how much is food required? So for that, what I will do is, I will take one more small step. Okay, I will create one more new file. Okay, let me create new file. Assume that I have the values here like this. Okay, number of students here. Okay, number of students, and here let me say assume that I have 200. Okay, 400. Okay, say 500, say 700, say 800. Okay, okay, like this I have the values. Assume, let us assume like that, and let me save this file. Now save as, again already I told you have to save it as some csv file. Let me put it as let me use some Telugu also. Uhinchu means it's a kind of prediction. Okay, okay, uhinchu means it's a kind of imagine, it's a word for imagine. Okay, okay, I'm putting the word as imagine here now, instead of imagine. Okay, I'm purposely using a Telugu word uhinchu. Uhinchu is like imagine. Okay, imagine and prediction are not exactly same. It is something close to that. Okay, so uhinchu basically means imagine. Okay, so I'm using a word called uhinchu. Okay, underscore one. Okay, uhinchu underscore one. I'm putting the name. Save. Again, this is in the, okay. Click OK. Click OK. Yes. Now let me again go to that. We have to import that file, right? So okay. So what I'll do is go here, this particular file I have to do that uhinchu I have to take now, uhinchu underscore one. So okay, I'm opening that particular file. Now what I'm trying to tell from this is, let me go to that particular file. This is that file. Let me open. What I'm trying to tell is, for these values of x, now I wanted to find the predicted values of y. Okay, maybe sometimes you will have a very large data values. For those values of x you want to find what is y. Okay, that is what is this I'm trying to show you. So you have like this, right? So now what I will do is, again I will come back over here. Okay, so we have to do that prediction, right? So because we are running out of time, again I will take the commands from this particular file which we have done already. Okay, yeah. So yes, I have to first import that particular file. Okay, so just observe here. We have to first import that particular CSV file like this. Okay, so let me copy paste this particular thing. Okay, So already we have used that command earlier, how to import the CSV file, here already we have done that initially, remember? Just let me go up little bit. Yeah, exactly the same one. Okay, the same one. Okay, yes. So that is what we are doing now. First we have to import that particular file. Okay, so yeah, this earlier we used as a df, for like a data frame we were calling. Now let me call this as just a simple d, and here that file name is uhinchu underscore one, uhinchu underscore one dot csv. Okay, and then I am running this. Okay, one thing, this d, if you wanted to display that, I'm using that. Otherwise, if you don't want to display that, you need not do. Okay, now if you wanted to see what is there in that, you are simply putting d and then running it, so that you can see the values. Okay, so you got these values. Now we have to predict the y values. Okay, so what we will do for that is, we have to predict the values. So simply use this command reg dot predict d. Okay, so yes, within 3 minutes we are concluding this. Reg dot predict, reg dot predict d. Okay, means these values of, see one thing, just please understand one thing. Here also we use the command reg dot predict, but here I used for one single value. Okay, here what I'm doing is, I'm trying to give multiple values. Okay, and that too which are in a csv file kind of thing. That is the only difference. Okay, I'm not using any new command now in such a way. Some slides change in the syntax. Earlier it was only one single number, so I gave in between the square brackets I have given the number. Okay, now let me run this. So these are the values. Okay, these are the y values. So this much food is required. For example, you can cross check. When 400 four people are there, you require how much food? 20,044, okay, kgs approximately. Already you got this in the previous lines, if you can see here. Yes, you can see here. Okay, like that you can see here also. Okay, similarly for other values. So you can estimate, okay, in the next year many people are going to join, 800 people are will be there in the hostel, so we have to order this much food from the supplier, something like that. Okay, so this will help us in taking proper decisions, how much to buy, how much not to buy, kind of things. So that is why it will be helpful, whether how much rain will come tomorrow, or what will be the temperature tomorrow. If you have the previous data like that, you can utilize this. Exactly whether the same thing will happen tomorrow or not is a different issue. It will depend on many other factors also, but based on previous data we are trying to predict the future. And one final thing, if you want to again export this whole data to another excel sheet. Okay, okay, like now you got the data, you can copy and paste it in an excel sheet. That's a different issue. Otherwise, directly, if you, by using a command, if you want to export, what you can do is, I'll just show you now. Okay, you can do like this. Okay, all those values you copy, all those y values which you got, you copy into some p. Okay, all those y values which you got, you copy into some variable called p, suppose. Okay, let me run it. Okay, they got copied into p. Now what you do is, just observe. Okay, already those values are in p. Now I have to create a new column. I have to create a new column. See, now the data is having only x column, there is no y column here in this file. So I want to create the y column, but that is a predicted column. Okay, so I want to create that column. Okay, so let me put the name as predicted food. Predicted in kg. Predicted food in kg, let me call like that. Okay, so I'm copying that into this. Okay, okay, right, right, yeah. So once you do that, if you now type d and run this, you can see all the values. Got this? Okay, so now you have x values and the predicted y values. Now you want to save it as some csv file. So to save it as a csv file, we have a command like to csv. Okay, there is a command like to csv. Okay, so this is that command. Okay, okay, that's it. That's it. Last 1 minute. Okay, last 1 minute. I am saying uhinchu. Okay, let me say predict naya. Okay, naya. Naya means new. Naya is a Hindi word. Naya. Okay, so d2csv predict dot naya, predict underscore naya. So all these values will be saved as a csv file now. Okay, so let me run this. So now if you wanted to see the file, where it will be here in the folders. You have to go to the folders. Where is our folders? Yeah, yeah, you can see now predict naya has come. You click that, you can see now x values and the predicted y values, like that. Okay, now here, these are 0 1 2 3. serial number came. No, if you don't want that serial number to come there, you can do something like this. If you don't want that serial number to come, you can simply do like this. Let me copy this line. Let me paste it. One small thing you have to do. If you don't want that, you simply say index is equal to false. Okay. If you say like this, that 0 1 2 3 kind of thing will go away. Now again you just go and see in the Excel sheet, okay, that particular folder, that folder you go, that folder thing, okay, same name we gave, so click it. Now you see that 0 1 2 3 disappeared. Got a point? Okay, thanks a lot. Dhanyavad for listening. I hope you understood this. So Python is not tough, anything is not tough. Only thing is we have to just have some patience to understand. Hope these classes are being useful to you. Dhanyavad. Okay, so if you have anything now, please open your mic and talk, okay, or tell your comments, okay. Yeah, otherwise we will be signing off in a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, okay. If you want to talk, please talk. See, if we have more time, we can type our own commands, but because we don't have time, I have to just copy paste some of the commands, okay. And once you have more practice also, you can type easily from your memory, okay. That is another issue, okay. So yeah, please give your comments other people, so otherwise we'll close now within 2 3 minutes, okay. Is it not visible now? Is it visible or not? Screen. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, please tell your opinions, or if any doubts are there. Okay, and one more thing, very important, from where I have learned this, that is another thing. So, thanks to one person, I will show the person's name now or photo. Okay, so I studied from somewhere. Okay, this particular Python thing. Okay, so I listen to these lectures. Okay, some other people also I learned. Okay, but just for refreshment, yesterday I learned from him. So I just thought I will
Hello.
show this person. Okay, yeah, right. So
Hello.
हाँ ठीक है तो कुछ है तो बोलो वनकम सर इफ यू हैव एनीथिंग टू टेल प्लीज टेल मी otherwise I will sign out now. And one more thing, see, whenever I am having
Hello.
webinars, I am updating here. See, every time I may not send you a link, okay. So please just observe this, note down this, blogspot.com, okay. So generally I will be giving updates on this website, okay. Okay, and next class maybe on day after tomorrow, maybe alternate day we will try to do, okay. One day we will leave in the middle,
Uh,
okay, probably.
okay.
Or if there is anything
Shall
specific
we
details I
keep
need to
hard
ask,
discussion
or
for this?
just you keep seeing this website and don't waste your time, okay. Everyone will have their own works, okay. It is not that I am the only teacher in this world, okay. If there are any other good lectures by other people, you can listen to them, okay. And it is not compulsory that every day you have to come and listen to my class. There may be some other good lecture given by other person, and the topic may be more relevant to you, okay. So don't hesitate, okay. No hesitations. Just because I am elder to you or I am your sir, you have to listen always every day to me. There's nothing like that, okay. Right. And if you also have to teach me something, you can teach me, right. So dhanyavad again, Hari Om, Sharan ji, Pavan ji, Inian sir, and one more Karthik sir, I think, okay. uh,
Okay, sir.
okay, thanks a lot. Okay, then मैं साइन आउट कर रहा हूँ अभी, ठीक है, धन्यवाद.